But mentally, again, just having that pressure of like, okay, people, I already told the whole world that I'm going to be a doctor. I told my family, they're expecting that. But you have to find your identity in things that aren't things like a career. For me, I was like, oh, who am I if I'm not this? Or who am I if I'm not that? But I'm more than that. Like, I'm Joanne who enjoys traveling. I'm Joanne who wants a family. I'm Joanne who this and that. Like, it's not Joanne that's just going to become a doctor and that's Joanne. Talking to my family about it was difficult. I cried. I'm like, I'm letting people down. But at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first. At least when it came to my career, something that I'm going to be doing for 40 years, I had to just ignore and silence the voice of other people. It felt like I could make my own decision without fear of repercussions from my parents. Growing up, all I did was my parents' will. Like, being able to say, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I respect you. I honor you. Like Ephesians 6 said, honor your mother and father. I don't have to curse my parents out. I don't have to insult them. I don't have to insult them. But I'll say, like, you know, I really appreciate the advice you're trying to give me, but this is where I feel led towards.
A seat at the table.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Seat at the Table. I'm here again and I'm your host, TEALINE MATILDA. And yes, we are here again. You guys make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe so that I can continue to create more content for you guys and push out these episodes. Today I have a very special guest. When our hearts hold big dreams, we tend to rely on our own strength rather than relying on the strength of God. And so today I have a very special guest that has been through trials, detours, delays, and has overcome from community college all the way up to Yale School of Medicine. I have my friend, Joan McDuffie. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Welcome to the seat. Welcome to the
Thank
table.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
It's so good to have you here. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Of course. So I think your story is really inspirational. And I think that one of the things that I love about you is how you've included God into your journey, especially when it comes to seeking greatness and pursuing our dreams and all of that. So I really admire that about you. So I wanted you to kind of share your testimony and just kind of talk about that with you and unpack that a little bit. Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, I want you to take me back to the beginning, because I know that growing up, we all wanted to be doctors.
Right.
So when you look back at your younger self, what were your motivations? What were you thinking? What drove you to medicine?
Yeah.
She's a physician assistant, by the way.
Yes. Not a doctor. But like you said, I'm sure at one point we all wanted to be doctors. Mm-hmm. My desire kind of started when I was maybe around 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it just fascinated me. Certain things like delivering babies and like being there for someone on their worst day or their best day and like kind of helping them through that. And so as I grew, I didn't really know PA, which is physician assistant, which mm-hmm. is what I am. I didn't know that existed. I was like, it's just nurse and doctor. And so I was like, okay, I want to be a doctor because I want to be the one calling the shots. And eventually, when I went into university, I learned about the PA profession. And I felt called to practice medicine, but my desires also changed. Mm-hmm. And so it focused less on career 100%, and it turned into like family and career. And so not saying that doctors can't have families and careers, because we know doctors who have career or who have families, mm-hmm. But travel, family, mm-hmm. things like that also interest me. So that's kind of when I fell into the PA profession. And I think it was very hard being African, especially. Like, your parents expect you to be like the best of the best. Like, don't tell me you want to be an assistant. Yeah. So I had to really lean on God during those moments and not be influenced by what people wanted me to be or the idea that they had of me in their head, but really living out my truth, which, like I said, like I enjoy having hobbies and also practicing medicine. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like the PA profession fit that mold for me better than becoming a physician. And it's not to downplay physicians, obviously. Some people have the capacity to be a physician and do all the things that I love, but I couldn't see it for myself. So I had to really pray. It was really hard to kind of make that switch.
Mm-hmm.
And so, especially being in community college, I'm like, okay, I was also scared to apply to medical school because I'm like, starting from community college, I will be at a disadvantage. And I knocked myself down a lot.
Yeah.
But leaning on God, like I said earlier, kind of helped give me purpose and give me motivation to continue with my goals, despite what the prognosis looked like at the time.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that that's so interesting because I think one of the things that I really love about you now is the balance. Like, you're looking good, you're married, you're traveling, you're also helping others, like you create content as well. So what you said about not fitting the mold and then also not looking at medicine through a hierarchical lens, even though that's how we used to look at it. Now in our modern day, we see everyone as a team.
Yeah.
We know that nurses work together with physician assistants, work together with, so like everybody's on the team trying to care for the patient. So you kind of had to like modernize or kind of shift your mentality to fit the new mode that we're in. So I really appreciate that. So right now we're seeing the end product. Like, we're seeing you as a physician assistant. The career is there. The relationship is there. Like, you're still enjoying your life. I know like that journey hasn't been easy because I remember like watching your YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Right.
I want you to kind of go into like your thoughts when earlier on in your career, right? So like, let's say community college, like what were your feelings during that time? Like, and of course, you know, community college, whatever you need to do to get your education, degree is a degree, but when you're not where you want to be, it can still feel like a failure no matter where you are.
Right.
So when you were in that moment where you're in community college, you're kind of going back and forth about what you want to do, like what were the thoughts that were going on in your head?
That's a really good question. I would say I always had the future in mind, but I didn't idolize the future. I was happy in the now. And it's a hard thing to do because when the now kind of sucks and you're like, because when I started community college, I didn't have a car. So I went to school at Montgomery College, which is, I think, like 20 minutes from here. I would take the bus 2 hours there for even a day where I had one class for 1 hour and then 2 hours back. 5 hour commute for 1 hour class. And it's just like, but I found what I enjoyed in it. So I would take the bus with my friends, or like I would stay at the library and just study. And romanticizing the now definitely helped. It helps time go by faster as well. If you're standing by a pot of boiling water waiting for, it's going to feel like time is going so slow because you're waiting for the future. But if you go and occupy yourself, take your mind off of the boiling water, when you come back, it'll be boiling. And that's how I felt like my life went. Like, I wouldn't focus as much on the future. I would focus on, okay, what am I doing now? Like, okay, I'm getting involved in student government, like hanging out with friends, studying, like doing all these things for the future, yes, but my mind is on now. And so I would fill the now with things that made me happy. And I think that kind of helped the journey become a little easier, at least mentally, because it really is mind over matter, right? Like, we can all go through the same journey, but people can process it different ways. One person can say, this was the hardest moment of my life. Like, I didn't enjoy the journey, but I'm glad I'm a PA, versus the other person who was like, I'm glad for everything I went through. Like, being in community college, people judged me. People may have thought I wasn't intelligent, but I made the most out of it. I did student government. I was involved in campus activities. I made so many friends, even though they were like 50 years old. I made friends. The group at community college is crazy. I was friends with all the aunties. Like, it was just fun. I mean, you have to like you have to view life in a more positive way to have a more positive experience.
Yeah, I love that. Do you feel like romanticizing your life works though? Only because like you could be like, oh, I'm going to the gym, y'all. You get to the gym, you sweat, and you like, bro, I hate my life. You know what I mean? So like, do you feel like it always works, or do you feel like it's more so mindset than aesthetic when it comes to romanticizing your life?
That is such a hard question, because sometimes you're right. I feel like romanticizing kind of gives other people the wrong impression as well. I'm sure you know, like sometimes you're in medicine too, we'll post like the Yale School of Medicine sign, like around all the flowers, and people will look at your story like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? Doing big things. But you know how you're suffering in that moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Life is filled with suffering. If you can trick yourself mentally to think you're having fun, I think it's worth it. And I do romanticize my life a lot. And I feel like it helps me be more content with life. I enjoy every night I go on walks with my husband and my dog. And it's just a walk, right? But it's like, this is like the best thing ever. Like, I have a husband, I have a dog, and we get to like walk, and I don't have academic stress. And I just think of things to be grateful about. A year ago, I was in school crying, suffering. Now I'm taking a walk, and I don't even like, I don't know. It's just the small things.
Yeah.
And it just makes life beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So I want to also talk about your pivot, because pivoting, I think when you have long-term goals is important, because pivoting can put you in alignment with God's will, because sometimes we're on an old blueprint, we're on an old timetable when God is trying to do something new. But it can also be very scary pivoting, because you're kind of clinging on to what you think is going to happen. So what was it like pivoting from wanting to be a doctor to a physician assistant, and who did you have to become to accept the fact that you were going to take a new path?
It was, I think, mentally more difficult than logistically, just because pre-PA and pre-med classes, they overlapped a lot. So it's not like I had to completely change my course load and my major. But mentally, again, just having that pressure of like, okay, I already told the whole world that I'm going to be a doctor. I told my family, they're expecting that. That was the most difficult thing. But you have to find your identity in things that aren't things like a career or, I don't know what, enter the blank. But for me, I was like, oh, who am I if I'm not this? Or who am I if I'm not that? But I'm more than that. Like, I'm Joanne who enjoys traveling. I'm Joanne who wants a family. I'm Joanne who this and that. Like, it's not Joanne that's just going to become a doctor and that's Joanne.
Yeah.
And so talking to my family about it was difficult. I cried. I'm like, I'm letting people down. But at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first.
You do.
Maybe not in every situation. I think it's good to put others first sometimes. But at least when it came to my career, something that I'm going to be doing for 40 years, I had to just ignore and silence the voice of other people. And first of all, uplift the voice of God. Like, God tells you who you are. Read the word. And God will tell you you're more than your career. You're more than what people think of you, what people expect of you. And you're going to let people down. I let people down. I still let people down. My family, they're still waiting for me to go to medical school. I kid you not. They'll be calling me.
Wow.
Is it time?
Like, what?
And I'm just like, I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pivot, but I'm happy with the decision that I made. And I'm glad about the path that the Lord took me on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think you gain as a result of pivoting? Because I think that sometimes we focus so much on the change that we don't think about what the change is going to bring. What do you think actually following your heart brought you when you decided to pivot?
Yeah, I think, let me try to make this related, but I think growing up in an African household, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but you kind of do the will of your parents, right? Like, your parents want you to do this at this time, you're going to do it, whether it's chores, whether it's a specific task. And so it felt like I could make my own decision without fear of repercussions from my parents. Growing up, all I did was my parents' will. Like, so being able to say, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I respect you. I honor you. Like Ephesians 6 said, honor your mother and father. I don't have to curse my parents out. I don't have to insult them. I don't have to insult them. But I'll say, like, you know, I really appreciate the advice you're trying to give me, but this is where I feel led towards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard
So you feel like you gain the freedom to be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the autonomy to make my own decisions.
Yeah, I'm still learning that
Yeah,
for real.
it's hard. It's hard.
It is.
Even for simple things like getting my ear pierced, the way I had to cry and fight for my own ear, to put one hole in the ear that you can't even really see. And I think I fought for it for like maybe a year or two, because we respect our parents. The way we're raised is like you respect what your parents say, even if you may not agree.
Yeah.
And so my family was like, oh no, you're going to be a doctor. It was like, oh shoot, like how do I tell them that I'm pivoting and I'm not going to do what they thought I was going to do?
I feel like we focus so much on what we lose. It's just like how when we're in Christ and we have to sacrifice our time or our money, or we focus so much on the fact that, oh, I'm losing sleep, I'm losing time. Like, you are gaining something so much greater than what you're losing. You might be in the presence giving God your time, but you're going to gain peace. You're going to gain clarity. You're going to gain wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, what you're gaining is so much greater than what you're losing. And I feel like that is like what your story represents. And I really want to focus on that, because it's like you're making so much impact. Like, just from you being in school, delivering all those babies, like, you're changing lives. And it's like, we will negate the fact that you're literally saving people's lives just to be like, okay, this isn't what I expected you to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I fully agree. And it's not to knock anybody in my life who thinks that I should have gone a different path. But you're right. Like, I'm still making an impact, but I'm also happy myself. And I'm giving back to my community. I'm giving back to myself. I have so much time to pour into the Lord, pour into my family, pour into my hobbies. And other people, when they look out, they don't see that. Like the people who told me, oh, become a doctor, do this. So they don't see all the things that I've gained.
Yeah.
They just see the fact that I don't have the title. And they're like, what are you doing with your life? Like, so I think another thing that's important is just to not worry about what other people think. If you have to worry about what other people think, I don't think you'll accomplish much in life. You just have to have laser focus on your goals and what you feel like the Lord is leading you to do. Another thing that I struggle with is, in life, we feel it's almost like a false sense of autonomy, which means like independence to make your own decisions. At the end of the day, God is in control, but we also make our own decisions.
We have free will, yeah.
We have free will to make our own decisions. And I feel like a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but I didn't consult with God first. So even though I'm making my own decision, is it really in line with what God wants me to do? And so learning that, and I'm still learning it, because again, we feel like we have the right to make our own decisions without consulting with God. And so even though you're seeing me now and I guess I appear successful, I appreciate the compliment, I'm still learning how to like really seek out God's advice.
Right, because it's a journey.
Exactly.
And I think growth is multidimensional, it's layered in like your career, your mental, your emotional capacity. Like, it's ever growing. And I think that is so important. I also want to talk about like not letting medicine take over, because this one is for me.
Yes.
I don't know. Because medicine is so demanding outside of just the educational demands. And then, of course, caring for people that are suffering, like you're witnessing suffering, you're a part of the suffering, and you're trying to find solutions for the suffering. Like, how do you not allow like it to take over your life and to make room to help other people? And make room to allow this to be your purpose, not just a career, but still, I have my autonomy, I have my interests, I have my likes.
That is something I'm still trying to figure out. There's two parts of the question. One is in terms of my schedule, my day-to-day, the things that I enjoy. How do I not let medicine get in between that? And for that, it's easy for me. It's just like, okay, I set a timer. For example, if I'm at work, that's when I focus on medicine. At home, I really can't take it home with me. Aside from when you're in school and homework, you have to. But even when I was in school, at 8 p.m., if I didn't retain anything, that's it for the night. I'm not going to retain anything else. So why do I have to stay up and suffer?
And then have a sleepless night on top of it.
And then, so for me in school, it was just like, okay, at school, I'm going to study. I'm going to come home, study till 8 p.m., after 8 p.m., no medicine, like no studying, no nothing. I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to enjoy my life. And that was easy for me. Another thing, I started ice skating in PA school, which was like a hobby that I never thought I would do, but I was very intentional. Like, I'm not going to let my life just be studying. My identity is not just going to be a student. I have to find something else. So my thing was ice skating, and I made time for it. I think you can make time for anything you want to make time for. You just have to adjust, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe delete social media. Not you, this is your job, but like, you have to find things to take out or put in to do the things that you want to actually do.
Yeah.
The second part of that question is the emotional. Like, how do you not let yourself be overburdened by other people's illnesses and needs? And I'm still figuring that out. Last night, I woke up at 3 a.m. in a panic because of a patient. I won't like say the specifics, but it's something that still affects me at home. I feel like mentally I take home patients with me and their stories. And right now I'm just praying, God, give me rest. I've been meditating on Proverbs. It's a specific chapter I forget, but it's about, you know, the Lord giving you rest and peace. That's what I've been doing, but it's still really difficult. At the end of the day, we chose medicine because we have a calling to help people. So when you know someone's suffering, how can you just block it out of your head?
Yeah.
You can't.
It's really hard to.
It's hard.
And they always say like compartmentalize, but it's just like we're human beings.
Yes.
When something affects your heart, it's kind of hard to be like, okay, I'm just gonna block that out for today.
And some people, it may come with time. Some, especially like if you go into the emergency room or the ICU, those people are kings and queens of compartmentalizing because they've seen so much suffering. But maybe because I'm new, it still stings. But I pray, God, that I keep my sensitivity to things, to people suffering. Because after being in medicine for 20 years, people are like, like when a patient's crying, screaming, it just rolls off their back.
It's like they become numb.
They become numb to it.
So do you think like in this context, being able to feel is a good thing or a bad thing? Because I'm asking because it's like on one end is like you have to protect yourself. But then on the other end, when you look at the life of Jesus, he was moved by compassion, like his bowels were moved. So this was something he felt internally. Do you think it's about rest, recharging? Like, what do you think is the key? Do you think being numb is the answer? Like, what do you think is the key?
Being numb is the answer to get the job done. But to be a good provider, I think you have to feel. Like, you really have to feel. Take time to know your patients. I'm not going to go as far as to say my patients are my friends, but I feel like indebted to them, like you would to your family. So when my patient suffers, it's like my family's suffering. And maybe that's too close. Some may argue you're taking it too personal, but that's just the way I think. And I think patients feel that. Patients seldom remember the procedures you did for them, the notes you wrote about them. It's about how you made them feel. And patients feel that you feel. You know, when I sit down and I'm not looking at my computer, but I'm looking at the patient, crying with the patient, which I don't recommend, but sometimes I just cry with patients because we're humans. I know it's a job, but this is the most vulnerable position that someone can be in. To not knowing someone at all, for them to take off their clothes and show you their body for you to examine, tell you all of their deepest fears, the medical conditions they're going through. Mind you, you don't know. Cry. Right? You don't know this person. The least you can do is offer compassion. You know?
I don't think that that's too much at all, because when I see Jesus, I know there's a verse in the Bible that he said, I call you my friends, because the servant doesn't know what the master is doing. And it's like when you approach medicine through a hierarchical lens, like you're on top and you know that patient is beneath. It's like you are not inviting them in. And I love that verse where Jesus is like, I call you my friends. Like, I'm not calling you servants. Like, even though in a capacity you are serving me, but I'm calling you my friends. I'm giving you access to my heart. I'm giving you access to my tears. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing. And I just respect that so much.
Thank you.
Also, I also know that like, do you still make content?
I don't.
I remember you used to always give tips about like, PA school and everything like that, like what like drove you to like help others? Because somebody else is gonna like, I got off the hood, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out, y'all on your own. But you're always open to give advice. Literally, I can like text you right now, and it's like we don't even talk every day, but it's like I know if I text Joanne right now, hey, I need your advice on this medical school, Yale, like tell me da 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 da. Like, what makes you so open to helping others, like and bringing them up with you, not just enjoying all the blessings? Yeah,
I can't take credit for that. I really give all praise to God, and I'm not trying to do fake humility, but seriously, God gives people certain desires of their heart, and the desire that He put in my heart is to help people. I don't know where it came from. It's not something I could have come up with myself. It's just who I am. I love when I see people succeed, especially people taking similar paths to my own, because I know how to give advice pertaining to what I've been through. And so I really praise God that I have that desire in me, but I don't know how I got it. I just it just makes me happy to see other people grow and accomplish their goals as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and if I have information to give, what's the point of keeping it to myself?
Exactly.
It's very similar to the gospel. Like, okay, am I supposed to sit on this myself? If I know the good news, why wouldn't I share it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to fast forward a little bit. I know like the journey is, honestly, I feel like we could talk for hours, honestly, because it's just like your story is so layered. But I want them to kind of get everything. So let's fast forward to you get into Yale, because you went to Cornell, right?
I got into Cornell, but I didn't go.
Okay, so
I went to UMD.
Oh, so you went from community college, UMD, then Yale?
Yes. Which, actually, let's talk about it a little. Not to take over your podcast.
No, go ahead.
Going from community college, I feel like a lot of people have inferiority complexes. Like, like people think I'm stupid because I go to community college. And I had that. And so when I applied to transfer, I was like, I need to find the top of the top. So I applied to Ivies and I got in. And I was like, okay, I need to go to prove to people that I am smarter than what it looks like. And so I got into Cornell. The bill was $30,000. I think they gave me a full tuition scholarship, but not including room and board. So the last 2 years would be $15,000 for each year. And UMD gave me a full ride. I could live home with my mom, so I didn't have to pay room and board. So my mom was like, go to UMD, save money. You don't have to worry about prestige. But my pride, I'm like, no. People counted me out. I need to show people. And people were encouraging me. Like, my dad was like, go to Cornell. People need to see you. Da, da, da. So
I would have went to Sally Mae. 50K.
That is a moment I really had to just lean on God, because what do you mean I made it and I'm going to turn it down?
Right.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
But look at God. I ended up going to UMD and I got into Yale. So that was just like one part I wanted to add why I didn't go to Cornell is because of the finances. But something that I thought was over for me, God had
greater plans.
Yeah.
What was it like? Like, how did you feel when you got into Yale? Because
I had the reaction. I cried. I ran to my mom. She fell on her knees, just started praising the Lord. I'm like shaking, like, no way, Yale. Yale. It was like I could never in a million years think that I would get into Yale.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was.
What was it like? Like, what was your experience at Yale?
The best thing ever. It's like the environment, the people, even New Haven, which at first I was kind of iffy about. New Haven ended up being such a nice place. Great community, great food. I made amazing friends. Like my best friend, she's still at Yale, but we talk every day. And I don't think I would have had that experience if I stayed in Maryland. Who knows? But being at Yale taught me. Yeah. And I got in contact with a bunch of experts in the field, visionaries, people who have unlocked research and
have made discoveries.
Yes.
Published.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
I love the academic space, honestly. Like sometimes it's hard kind of like merging being a creative with like being academic, because it's like you feel like you have to pick one or the other. But like I really love the academic space, like publishing and research and labs. Like I love it.
Go to Yale.
Yeah, let me in.
We'll pray. We'll pray.
Amen. I want to go into so we talked about Yale, what it was like. How were you able to cope, like being away from home? We kind of touched on it, but I think that I don't want people to assume that when you pivot or when you get in alignment with God, that there's not going to be any type of struggle. It's just all going to be blessings. It's all going to be glory. It's still a responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah.
You had to make sure your grades were on top, and you had to also not lose yourself in the title. And, you know, the higher you go, you meet certain types of people that, you know, you could get prideful. You could forget about God. You know, how did you stay grounded in your testimony and just everything? And then what challenges did you face as well being there?
I'll start with the challenges. Being away from my family, I lived with my mom for 22 years. My sister, my best friend, we shared a bed from the time I was 6 up until 22. So losing my support system in that way was really difficult. You never realize how much you talk until you have to live alone. Like going from talking to my family, when you get home, you have somebody to talk to being silent. Like, who do I talk to? Like, it was a hard day.
Yeah.
The apartment is quiet. You're like, oh my goodness. And luckily in that situation, my then boyfriend, but he moved to Connecticut to be with me, and he didn't have to do that, but that was such a blessing that helped me, because in a moment where I had so much change around me, he was like the constant, like, okay, he's with me, everything will be okay. Another challenge was just the academics. Even though it's fun, it's hard. And my first semester, I believe I was like this close to failing, like this close. So even though you saw me posting TikToks and stuff, I was on the brink of failure.
I remember you be making TikToks in your car. Like, I'm like, yo, Joanne really living over here.
Meanwhile, I'm 1 second away from failing. But that was hard as well. I think that I just needed to adjust things like I mentioned earlier in the conversation. When I had challenges, oh, I didn't have enough time to study. Okay, get rid of social media. Oh, I didn't have time to do this. Like, move things around in your life to bring time, or to give time to things that matter the most. Something I struggled with was losing sight of God. Sometimes when life gets busy, it's very, very difficult to remember God because you're on go. There be moments I wake up at 3:00 in the morning to go on rotations, and you're just like in surgery for 10, 11, 12 hours. You barely have time to eat, take a shower. Like, how do you remember God? And that's not an excuse. I think we should even remember God, especially in those moments. But in PA school, I did lose God a little bit. And it was only at my lowest point, when I almost lost everything, when I almost was booted from the program. That's when I look back at God and I'm like, he was there all along when I was distracted with school. But now that I'm about to lose this, like, there was a moment where I thought I wasn't going to continue in the program. It was God that I had to turn to. And so that was a defining moment for me. I'm like, I can't be so caught up in life and school and work that I forget the creator, the one who gave me all of this
opportunity.
Because at the end of the day, it was me begging, screaming, crying for God to give me this opportunity. And now that he's given it to me, because of small challenges, I forgot God completely.
Yeah. So. It is harder when you get into those spaces, because I think that like we can hide behind the intellectualism, like hide behind the achievement, hide behind the accolade. So it is really tough. Yeah. But I'm like grateful to God that he's like, when you come back to him, he's not going to use it against you. He's not going to be like, so where have you been?
Right.
He's just grateful that you've come back.
Right.
So I think that is honestly so beautiful. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for that.
Me too.
I think moving, so you're at Yale and you go through your program and everything like that. How do you, because I guess your ability to integrate faith in medicine, it didn't start when you started seeing patients. It started in you, right? So like, how do you integrate faith in medicine? I'm asking this because I think that like we're in a new era where it's like the days where, okay, doctors don't believe in God, they but trust in themselves. Those days are gone. Like we're learning how to humanize even people in big positions. I read an article, I think it was a TED Talk, talking about how patients want to actually know who their doctor is. So when you said that you know your your patients are able to see you cry, I think that builds trust. And I think that that's so important as a healthcare practitioner to really allow people to know who you are. So how do you integrate your faith into medicine, and when did that begin, and what do you use to allow your patients to be able to see who you are, but also protecting the fact that you are taking care of them?
Yeah. That is such a deep question. You could go many different ways with it, and I'm not even sure where I want my mind to go with that. One of the most obvious ways that I integrate faith with medicine is if I notice, it's not good, but if I notice a patient may be a Christian, I will incorporate God into the conversation. And I'll talk about God at work, little things, maybe like, oh, that's a blessing, or like, praise God, or using patients' faith and meeting them where they're at. I don't impose my faith on other people, but if I see even like a little chance for me to talk about God, a lot of the times I will, because God has brought me so far. He's done so much for me. Another thing, a lot of patients grieve and they go through a lot. A lot of the patients I see are uninsured. And so their life story is just crazy. A lot of the times they cry in the room, I'll cry with them. But I also add, God is our strength. Whether the patient's Christian or not, I don't know. But I always also like to just make it clear that I am a believer. And 2 weeks ago, I went through a terrible, terrible thing recently. And 2 weeks ago, a patient saw that I was a little bit like out of it, and he asked to pray for me. And we prayed there together. And today, to this day, he's like texting me Bible verses every day.
Oh, word?
Yeah. And yeah.
Okay, Todd, I changed this. I would never text my doctor.
I know. A lot of patients like message me, but I feel like I'm like losing myself in the question. But a lot of the times I will try to introduce God into my encounters if I notice that a patient is a believer as well.
I think that just shows so much humility, because somebody may think like, oh, I'm taking care of you. Why are you praying for me? I got to pray for you. But it's like, we're really all in this together.
Yeah.
And in as much as I'm serving you, you're serving me as well.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we heal from the people that we would deem as needing the healing.
Yes.
So I think that that's so important. And I love that.
One more thing I'll say is God calls us not by compulsion, by making us follow him, but giving us the option, free will.
Yeah.
And so a lot of providers or doctors or what have you will try to impose, whether it's their own opinion or treatment plans. But for me, I'm like, I try to not force, because nobody does anything willingly by force, obviously. But it also helps to build good rapport with the patient. I have a lot of anti-vax patients. I will present you with the information. Some people will be fighting, but that's not the way the Lord brings us to him, right? Not by compulsion and not by making us feel bad. And so a lot of the times when I'm conveying what I think should be the treatment plan, I go into it with very open ears, hearing what the patient thinks, not forcing anything. At the end of the day, patients have the choice to do what they want to do. And so I also try to like practice that way as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Can you also talk to me about marriage? Because, girl, like, I feel like I don't know that much about your husband, but I know that he's been very supportive of your journey.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know he's been so supportive. So like, how does like your relationship come in? Like, what is that like? Just talk to me about that.
First of all, I just want to thank God for Logan, because I've never, ever, ever met a man like him, someone who serves and also supports in such a great way. he has been out. I may have to tell you off camera a few things that happened, but I think he's very Christ-like. He motivates me to make Christ-like decisions, even if it's something small, like something silly, like me throwing a banana peel outside. Oh my gosh, you can't, like, that's like a small, silly example. But when I want to give up, he's there to encourage me using the word of God as well. I think marriage has helped us become stronger because we go through certain things in marriage that we couldn't have gone through when we're dating. And so it's such a journey, but we love reminiscing about where we started because, we met online. And did you know that?
Yeah. You told me on Facebook.
Yeah. We met online, and then to go from Maryland and Virginia, we were long distance, to going to Connecticut where we knew nobody, helping each other in that way, and then coming back married, like living with each other. It's been such a beautiful thing, and I see why God loves marriage so much. We had a little bit of a hiccup trying to get married because of other people's opinions and things like that. But I also realized, the devil doesn't like marriage. There's a lot of confusion. Before a breakthrough, I think the devil likes to bring confusion. And so I'm glad that we just set our eyes on God. And again, I'll tell you like a lot more in detail later, but the journey to getting married, the fights, not between me and him, but like other people.
Yeah.
But the devil will try to create confusion. I feel like before you can reach where God wants you to be. And now I'm the happiest girl in the whole world.
Period. No, I'm so happy for you. And I think, as I said, I will always big you up. Like, so I expect the humility, but we're going to big you up because honestly, you're literally such an inspiration. Like, just growing up, your eye has always been on the prize. Like, it's very hard to find people that their eyes on the prize. They have a direction for their life and they pursue it with their life.
Yes.
So honestly, I love you so much, and I appreciate you. And I could literally talk to you for hours about medicine. Like, we just get it. So I could talk to you about so much marriage medicine, but I just want you to just kind of pour into people, because somebody is watching this and maybe they have to pivot. Like, maybe they're going back to school, or maybe they have to focus on something else other than school, and they may feel like they're dropping the ball on something. Sometimes, family planning, is family, is this, is that. What do you have to pour into those people that have to pivot, or they want to go back to school, or they have to put school to the side for a season, especially women, especially Black women? What do you have to say to them?
I'll say one foot in front of the other. When you're pivoting, many things will come at you. Feelings of self-deprecation. Can I do this? Can I not? Then other people's opinions. Then maybe the weight of the world, whether you have kids and it's hard to go back, or your schedule is very challenging. But one foot in front of the other, take it one step at a time. Matthew says tomorrow has its own worries. Worry about today. And if someone told me when I was in high school or community college, okay, you're going to go to UMD, you're going to take 23 credits in one semester, then you're going to go to Yale, then you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, I'd be like, whoa, how am I going to do that? But it happened day by day. And so each day, making a plan for yourself. Okay, I'm going to accomplish this, that. And you're not going to go to sleep until you've accomplished what you said you're going to do. Because that's another thing. People will have so much motivation at the beginning. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But who can stay the course? You have to be disciplined. It's not by motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation, everybody feels motivated. December 30th, you're like, oh, the new year. That's a feeling.
The great lock-in.
Yeah, I'm about to lock in. Those are all feelings. Feelings are fleeting. You have to be disciplined. Tell yourself you're going to do something. And at the end of the day, do it. You know, whether that's by having a planner or, I don't know. What I do is a planner. I write down my goals. I don't go to sleep until I've accomplished it. In the same way, to tie it in with God, if you're going to say, oh, I want to strengthen my relationship with God, make every possible effort to do so before going to sleep that night. Because when you keep pushing things off, you may not realize it in the moment, but at the end of the day, you're getting farther and further away from your goal. So that's my advice. You know, life is hard. You have to pick your hard. If you're going to let your dreams fall to the wayside because of lack of discipline or lack of motivation, in 2 years, 3 years from now, it's going to be very hard to look back and be like, wow, all that time has passed. I could have accomplished something. Or you can choose the hard of every single day. I'm going to work until every goal I had for today is finished. And that's how I see it. You know,
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
And I will also say it's very important to make it your purpose. I think it's easy to give up on a task or an assignment, but you can't give up on your purpose because that's literally what you're here for. And I think that it's important, no matter how mundane it may seem, even if there's money involved, even if there's people involved, it's really important to understand that this is your purpose. Like, this is why you are on earth. So never give up on that. Never give up on your purpose, and never allow God, never hinder God from pivoting you to pursue that purpose. Like, the road is not always going to be straight. There may be some detours, there may be some delays, there may be some doubts, but so far as it's your purpose and you're aligned with God, nothing is wasted. It's always going to work together for your good. So as you guys know, I always leave you guys with a journal prompt. So the journal prompt question for today is, where are you afraid to pivot, and why are you afraid? And what is going to lie on the other side of you pivoting? I love you guys so much, and thank you so much again, Joanne, for being on this episode. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.